Hello and welcome to Designer Discussions. Today, Maria is going to talk to us about seeing visuals from your client's perspective. Welcome to the Designer Discussions podcast with
Jason,
Maria,
and Miriam. Tune in each week where we talk about marketing, PR, and business advice for design professionals.
Hey, everybody. So today I want to talk about the comment that we hear in our client experience is, I can't see that, or what is that going to look like? So have you ever wondered why your clients are going to ask? Some clients ask that and others don't. So why is this consistent across the experience of interior designers? It's a phenomenon called aphantasia. It's called, the summary would be when a mind is blind. Not all people are going to have aphantasia because it's measured in a bell-shaped curve. A small population will be completely blind to visuals inside of their head, and another population's going to have a very vivid imagination and be able to see everything. So if you are an interior designer, if you're in kitchen and bath remodeling, we're going to go with you are probably on the side of the perspective of the bell-shaped curve that can clearly see ideas and concepts in your mind. Is this real, right? You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, that sounds crazy. They've actually been able to prove that you can see on an MRI that if someone is being asked, is pine trees darker than grass, that they can't make that decision by visualizing it, that a different part of their brain is being triggered during that question. And what they're having to do is pull that decision from past history of seeing it. They can't just visualize it quickly in their head. And this is all a great, interesting article from Scientific American. And I encourage everybody to look this concept up and start to understand why the questions your client asks you, it's not because they don't trust you, it's because they don't have enough information. And just like the question, is a pine tree darker or is grass darker? They have to have perpetual experiences with the concept to have a clear understanding of yes or no and which one would be the right answer. They said when they scanned the brain during this process, a gentleman who noticed he had lost his imagination after a stroke, when he was put in an MRI and asked the questions, actual different parts of the brain lit up. And so this is truly something that people are experiencing. So you might be asking yourself, what's an aphantasia bell curve and where would I be on it? And like how many people, what does this look like? And so there are many examples online where you can look at the aphantasia guide where it shows a beautiful, perfectly exact apple in someone's mind versus someone has aphantasia, which they literally can't see anything. But there are many places on the guide to describe how much aphantasia someone has versus someone who is very clear. And so you might have one person who sees that perfectly formed apple, which is probably you. And then you have someone who's completely not seeing anything. And then you'll have a person who sees a cartoon version or like a graphic of an apple in their head. You'll have people who see a black and white shape of an apple. And then you will have people who are going to see like a black and white outline. And you can test yourself by just sitting down and closing your eyes and saying, I want to see this apple and see what that looks like in your head. And so are there ways that you can improve your client's experience now that you know that some people cannot see it in their head and that they are mind blind? So make sure that when you think about putting yourself in your client's shoes, what would those people need to be able to make a good decision and help them understand what would be right or wrong? They aren't going to be able to conceptually visualize exactly what it is that you're talking about. They will have to see graphics and visuals that are shown often. And you will have to have experiences where the client mentally sees something and then says yes, because what you have to imprint on them is that they like something. Do they like it again? Are you sure, are you sure you still like it? And as they're going through this process and they're saying yes, yes, yes to that item, those same people in a client appointment don't have to be like, I don't know, I can't see it. They will be clear decision makers because they will have repeated yes, yes over and over again in their head. And they aren't having to come up with a decision based on an image that they haven't seen. It might even be that if they see only one visual of everything all put together, they may be able to look at that and say, yes, because I can see it all together. But they may also just need those preemptive yeses along the process so that they can clearly make decisions. And you might notice that you might have a couple where the husband is clearly able to make those decisions. He'll be like, yes, let's keep going. I like that. Let's keep going. And they're working off of what they see right then and there on the table. Whereas a wife might be like, what if we change some stuff? I think I'd like something that's different. And if you're having that experience, it's because one person is trying to visualize in their head and they're visualizing changes, and the other person is only going to be making black and white decisions from what they see that's directly in front of them. Make sure that you give people context. Make sure that they see something more than one time so that they can become very comfortable saying yes to you and also saying yes to items or concepts that you are presenting to them. Maybe it's not you, maybe it's not them. You just might be communicating in an actual different visual language, and that there might be a barrier between the two of you because you are working from your perspective, which might be dramatically different than your client's perspective. So we're going to talk more about client communication throughout this podcast. We have previous episodes where we reference concepts like how clients do math in their head and how clients are going to process through the client decision-making experience. We definitely encourage you to go back, listen to some of those episodes. I also have like a quick and dirty book that's very short and accurate on solutions. If you're coming up with pushback from your client, how to handle that from a strategic standpoint and make your client experience better. It's called The New Rules for Interior Design, and you can get it off of Amazon. Just remember that your client may respond to a process in one way that you don't want, and that it is your job to change the strategy to impact how they'll act. Remember, put yourself in your client's shoes to make your life easier. They may not be seeing from the same perspective that you are, and you need to meet them where they are.
Thanks, Maria, for all this great information. I definitely recommend that everybody go get your book on Amazon. And if you have any other questions for us, as always, please reach out to us on social media or in the comments. And we look forward to seeing you again on Designer Discussions in 2 weeks.
Did you know it takes 17 to 20 touch points before your potential clients recognize who you are? Is your business the one that they find first when they are looking? If not, there's a solution. The Designer Discussions Academy membership with your Designer Discussions podcast host or your personal coaches. With weekly live sessions, an exclusive community, practical resources, and expert guidance, we're here to simplify your marketing and boost your business. Sign up at designerdiscussions.com or follow the link in the show notes.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Designer Discussions and all of the helpful information. Subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and share it with your friends. We look forward to having you back next week. For more information on the podcast and the marketing studio, visit designerdiscussions.com and follow us on social media.